Hello, my name is Alicia Caldwell, and I will be telling you all about my favorite part of the brain, which is the amygdala, and why it's my favorite. So the amygdala is a small almond-shaped part of the brain that you can see right here. It's located within the temporal lobes, and it's part of the limbic system, and it consists of clusters of nuclei. Although it's small compared to other brain parts, it has a lot of different responsibilities. For example, the amygdala helps us with our memory, as well as with decision making, and it's most well known for helping us with emotional responses, which is the function that interests me the most. Amygdala is my favorite part of the brain because of its role in fear and fear-related memories, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on. So first I'm going to go into the structure of the amygdala. Like I said before, the amygdala is considered part of the limbic system and it's in the temporal lobes. It's also sometimes classified as part of the basal ganglia, and it's shaped like an almond and it's about the size of a pea, maybe a little smaller. There's several different types of nuclei that make up the amygdala, some of which are the basolateral complex, the cortical nucleus, the medial nucleus, and the central nucleus. And the amygdala is also made up of some different cell clusters, so these nuclei and cell clusters work together and help the amygdala do its job and regulate our emotions. We have two amygdalae, one in each of our hemispheres, you can see right here, and each of them has a different purpose and different strengths. The amygdala on our right hemisphere is the one that's associated with negative emotions like sadness and fear, and it's what's responsible for our ability to process something as fearful and then express that fear. It's also related to declarative memory and episodic memory, and it allows us to associate times and places with emotional properties. So this lets us know when we're in a place or situation where we should be more cautious or aware of our surroundings, and knowing which situations are dangerous gives us the ability to either avoid them or think of ways to deal with any trouble if it occurred to us. If you didn't know when to be cautious, life would be a lot more difficult. There's some people who have lesions in their amygdala, either just because of an accident or they're born that way. And people who have that, they're like, all times they're unable to show or feel any type of fear. Because of this, they have to learn what not to do through other methods, and eventually they can kind of learn what they should avoid, but they wouldn't really ever fully understand what it means to be fearful of something. So one important idea related to the amygdala and fear is fear conditioning, which is the formation of an association between a fearful stimulus, the fear the stimulus provokes, and the memory of the stimulus being fearful. An example of this would be if a rat were shocked every time it pushed a button. After pressing the button several times and being shocked each time, the rat would anticipate a shock after pressing the button and would associate the button with fear or pain. Fear conditioning depends on the amygdala in order to work correctly. So cells in the amygdala undergo long-term potentiation, which is a type of synaptic plasticity that leads to learning. And if the amygdala were damaged, the rat may continue pressing the button and never quite learn what the consequence of doing it is. The amygdala has a pattern of events that allow us to know and remember what exactly we should be afraid of. So first, the fear-provoking stimulus reaches the lateral nucleus, which causes associations to form between the memory and the emotion that came with it, and these emotional memories are then stored, and there's research showing that if the amygdala is damaged, our memory of the emotional event is damaged too, as well as our ability to form new fear-related memories. So this kind of shows that the amygdala is very important in storage of memories, and that they provoke long, strong emotions. Memories related to fear are stored in neuroconnections between the lateral nuclei and the central nucleus of the amygdala, and while other parts of the brain, like the hippocampus for example, are also responsible for memory storage, the memories stored by the amygdala are emotional and fear-based, and the more emotion the memory has attached to it, the more likely we are to remember it. So, like we talked about, the amygdala is responsible for fear and a recognition of things we should be afraid of. And this is particularly something that interests me a lot because while every part of the brain is important, I think that the amygdala is especially important for us from a survival standpoint, because if our ancestors hadn't experienced fear or they weren't able to learn what they should be afraid of, we wouldn't have survived. And being able to recognize fearful stimuli and avoid it allowed us as a whole to evolve and grow and to teach the younger generations what we should look out for. So I think it's very important in both our day-to-day life and in more dangerous situations, and it keeps us away from any life-threatening scenarios and aids us in the memory of these events. Amygdala does so many other things on top of what I focus on, and it's like a small but powerful aspect of the brain. When we learned about it in class, I was just amazed by how much such a small part of our brain could do, and so that's why the amygdala is my favorite.